Oh, yeah. I don't wanna be a safe bet, don't wanna be a plan B. Wanna be a top choice, not your top three. I'm so done, I'm so done.
I'm Allison Langer.
I'm Andrea Askowitz, and this is Writing Class Radio. You'll hear true personal stories and learn how to write your own stories. Together, we produce this podcast, which is equal parts heart and art. By heart, we mean the truth in a story. By art, we mean the craft of writing. No matter what's going on in our lives, writing class is where we tell the truth. It's where we work out our shit. There's no place in the world like writing class, and we want to bring you in.
Yeah, we do want to bring you in.
Come on.
Rah, bring it on. Today on our show, we bring you a story by Emma Lathrop. And in this story was originally performed on stage at the Flagstaff Festival of Science in October 2023. So we've had a bunch of episodes from that festival. So definitely check them out. Episode 174, 175, 177, 179, and 180. So you got a lot of science coming your way. And they're not all overly sciencey. They're real stories that really make you understand why these scientists fell in love with science and the earth and the planet and what we can do to help. So check them out. They're good. This whole science situation was a collaboration with ECOSS, the Center for Ecosystem Science and Society at Northern Arizona University, and Story Collider, a podcast that airs true science stories. And this whole thing came about from the brilliance of Dr. Jane Marks, who's a conservation ecologist and professor at NAU, and her husband, Bruce Hungate, who is also a doctor and scientist and in charge of a shit ton of stuff at NAU. Jane and Bruce have been taking classes with us for like 3 years or more now. And originally they were like, hey, can you help us write our stories? But then a year ago, they said, we really want you to help our PhD students write their stories because we have some major stuff we would like this world to understand, and no one is paying attention. So I really feel like their stories are now getting out into the world and people are understanding the story behind the science. So, and the heart behind the science.
Totally.
If you love science and stories and everything, and you love Flagstaff or have never been, you need to go because there's another festival in September in 2024. So if you want to come, just get in touch with us, Allison at writingclassradio.com, and I can give you some dates. I don't think there's firm dates yet, but we're going to be out there.
And we're going to do another live show.
Super fun.
Emma's story is about building a case. So using details as evidence to prove your point. Isn't that what a science thesis is?
Yeah.
And I think that a personal story is similar to a science thesis in that you have to make a case and then you have to show your evidence that builds your case until your case is made. And that's what Emma Lathrop does. You'll hear her story after the break. We're back. This is Andrea Askowitz, and you're listening to Writing Class Radio. Up next is Emma Lathrop telling her story.
I have the coolest job in the world. It's 2018. I recently graduated from college. I'm bright-eyed and maybe even a little innocent. I've got a job as an intern at a national laboratory, and I'm studying climate change in the Arctic. I feel important. Each summer, I travel 3,000 miles from my home in New Mexico to the remote Alaskan tundra. Here, for weeks at a time, I spend 12-hour days in the field, 80 miles from the nearest town of Nome, which is only accessible by plane or dog sled. I feel like a badass and a real scientist. It's my third year working on the project, and I'm 8 hours into another long, rainy day in the field. I'm exhausted from the culmination of walking 10 miles a day over the lumpy, soggy ground and my diet of trail mix and gummy bears. My morale is low, and I need a vegetable. Normally, the tough conditions add to the charm of a trip like this, but this one feels different. I'd been sent alone with a male coworker who was a near stranger to me at the time. He's not my boss, but he is my senior, and he's sent in charge of the science on this trip, but he's a lab scientist, and I have more experience in the field. We're alone, and we're sharing a small rental unit for the week. I am 3,000 miles from everybody else that I know. On the first day, we're packing our bags, and he goes, "Where's the DI water?" I didn't bring it. He rolls his eyes, and he starts walking towards our plots. I feel like a little kid in trouble, and so I chase after him. I want to explain to him that I didn't know I was in charge of bringing the DI water, but he just ignores me. As he's walking, he's far ahead of me now, and he walks past this patch of willow shrubs, and he scares a moose and her baby out of these shrubs, and they charge at me. I panic and I yell for him, but he's too far away to hear me. Luckily, in my yelling, I've alerted the moose that I'm nearby, and they're scared of me too, and they change directions. But I am angry and I'm scared. We're supposed to stick together, and I'm supposed to feel safe here. The solace that I normally feel on the tundra quickly turns to fear. The next day, we're at a plot, and he's criticizing my choice to use a map, even though the project requires us to do so for safety. I'm tired of trying to make conversation with him, so I'm playing some music from a speaker in my backpack, and Mambo No. 5 by Lou Bega comes on. This playlist is one that I made with a previous field crew when I was having fun and when I liked my job, but it sounds so stupid now. I text my mom that things aren't going well, and she tells me to make sure that I'm locking my bedroom door at night. As the days go by, my hands start to shake with nervousness, and I spill some sample and I mislabel a bottle. And he gets so angry that he turns around like he's having to restrain himself. I don't know this guy, and I do not know the limits of his anger. As I follow him from plot to plot, I think to myself, if I have to scream for help, can anybody hear me? On the way home, he chooses to remind me of all of the mistakes that I've made in the field, including the DI water. He tears me down. I've never been happier to get home. This trip causes me to question my identity and my belonging in science. And I start to resent fieldwork, which is a place I used to experience so much joy. I overhear through the grapevine that he tells my boss, Emma's just too hard to work with in the field. And so I summon bravery, and I overcome nerves and embarrassment of having to recollect this week to my management, and I report the harassment. And I hear, just stand up for yourself next time. He's such a nice guy. I don't think we need to take this issue any further. For the next trip that he leads, I'm not asked to go, but my male colleague is. He and I share an identical job. We have the same background, the same experience, but there is one big difference between us. He's a man. I don't want to go on the trip with somebody who harasses me, but I want to be asked, and I want to have the choice to say no. I want people to believe me when I tell them what happened. And most of all, I don't want this man and his behavior to stop me from doing the science that I love. The trip happens, and I'm not on it. The paper comes out, and my name's not on it. As a field scientist, I am trained to observe my surroundings with hyper detail. So I start to pick up on other things that are happening around me. At another field site in the desert, my boss and I are 2 women in a room full of 20 or 30 men for a pre-fieldwork briefing. Outside this building, there are 6 porta potties, 5 are blank, and 1 is labeled woman, singular. One day in the office, a senior scientist, a guy, berates my boss in front of me, her employee, something I don't think would have happened if she were a man. One guest lecturer tells us how she learned to cuss on the job so that her male employees who she's in charge of will respect her expertise. I notice how my male counterpart is always approached first for new work. They'll pass my desk in our shared office on their way to his. Can you make me a map with my sampling coordinates, they'll say. Only one of us has GIS experience on her resume, but I guess the other just looks more capable. I have to fight for the opportunity to join a field campaign, to be invited to a meeting or a conference, to be CC'd on an email, to be included in the science because I'm not automatically seen as a scientist. Do I still think that I have the coolest job in the world? Yes, I don't want anyone to take that away from me. The science that I do is critical to understanding the future of our planet and its habitability. I know each scientist is so important. And so that's why when I'm in charge, there will be a porta potty for every woman. Plural. Thank you.
You want to go first?
Oh, okay. So I am really struck by how well this narrator laid out the scenario so that I see how male dominated it is. The best example, she's in the desert. There are 2 women and 20 to 30 men, and there's 6 porta potties, and only one of them is labeled woman. And that's so funny because it's just labeled woman, as if there might be one woman who might need that one porta potty. That was like a very visual way I see it. I see that it's all men. So I thought that was really well done. The other moment where I saw that was when she says only one of us has, it was mapping skills on her resume, but the people in her office look to her male counterpart. And then she says, he looks more capable. Is that a point of view violation, or has she earned the right to kind of make that statement based on everything that she laid down for us?
I honestly think it's not a point of view violation because she's laid out the story so well, and that's what she's feeling. So she wasn't saying like, definitely this is what they say. She's saying this is probably what's going on here, in her opinion. So yeah.
Exactly. I'm not automatically seen as a scientist. I'm starting at the end, but that line, right, that was her, exactly what you just said. Like she earned the right to say that. And then I love the ending because it's triumphant. She's looking forward to when she's going to be in charge. And then she brings back the porta potty thing, which are obviously people remember. And she's going to have porta potties for every woman. Plural.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing because we know she's not going to leave because she's showing us when she gets there, not if, but when, this is what she's going to do. And like, yeah, amazing. And I'm sure she'll treat everybody the same based on ability and not gender.
I did get the sense, though, for a bit that she might leave. Like when she texts her mom, she's in the field and she texted her mom. This was another moment that I thought she did so well. And her mom says, make sure you lock your door at night. Oh my God. Like that was so cool because she wasn't saying this guy's creepy and I'm scared. She was just suggesting that it's possible that this guy could be dangerous in the night. And I thought that was very, very good. It wasn't an accusation. It was like a secondhand.
Yeah, but if it's apparent that he has such little respect for the woman, for her job, for her whole thing, he's like, then maybe he has no respect for her body either.
Yeah, but it was the mother who suggested it.
Yeah, no,
it was that's what I mean. It was like offsite.
Yeah.
So
can we just talk about her skills of like telling the story on the stage? Like she lands every sentence, like every paragraph just sounds so good. She paced it so well. I feel like a badass. Like I just loved her. I don't know. I felt her
need
humility.
A vegetable.
Yeah, I love that. I felt her humility, but also, yeah, she just seemed like very capable. And it didn't seem like a rant or whiny, in my opinion. I mean, we're 2 women, so maybe a male point of view would be different. I love her, and I loved her story. It's really interesting to hear what it feels like. And I'm sure it's not just in science. It's probably many, many fields.
Exactly. Yep. But in this case, especially, like she shows us how it's so physically grueling. And then here she is out there 10 hours or 12-hour days in the field, like walking 10 miles. I wanted to note the way her language was so casual because it was spoken out loud. She used he goes.
I know. I saw that too. Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
I
loved
it.
I know.
Yeah. I'm so obsessed with like he said, she said. You're only allowed to say he said, she said. There's an example right here where like, no, I am wrong.
Yeah.
Like
well, out loud.
Yeah, but even on the page, like if you're all, and then he goes, or she's all, shut up. Like, there are other speaking tags. And this one just came out so naturally and perfect with he goes. God, that was good. She also gave great evidence when she reported the harassment. And then basically no one takes her seriously. The 3 things she hears, like stick up for yourself next time, really him, he's so nice. Like, oh my God.
Fucking asshole.
That was great.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't actually him being an asshole. It was her supervisors just brushing her off because, again, it's such a male-dominated world that maybe no one has even mentioned the possibility of there being harassment out in the field ever before.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent story.
So let me give you guys a little background into Emma. She's a PhD student at NAU in the Center for Ecosystem Science and Society. Her research focuses on understanding how susceptible carbon in deep soil is to decomposition and emission to the atmosphere as greenhouse gas. Woo! So thank you guys for listening. Oh, and thank you, Emma, for sharing your story as well. But this collaboration we did was with ECOSS at NAU, Story Collider, and Bruce Hungate and Jane Marks from NAU to bring stories to the mainstream, science stories. So if you guys want to hear more science stories, check out Story Collider podcast. And I think this is the last one from the festival.
I think it is too. I think it's the last in our series. And it was the last of the night.
Yeah.
This was our closer, y'all. Boom, Emma, boom. She landed it.
But we will have more coming up soon, maybe in 6 months or so, because we are working with a new batch of scientists at NAU. We will have some stories for you for sure.
Yay!
Writing Class Radio is hosted by me, Allison Langer.
And me, Andrea Askowitz.
Audio production is by Matt Kundle, Evan Serminski, and Aiden Glassy at the Sound Off Media Company. Theme music is by Justina Chandler. There's more writing class on our website, including stories we study, editing resources, video classes, writing retreats, and live online classes. There is absolutely no reason why you can't be an amazing writer with all these free resources. And if you want to write with us every week, or if you're a business owner, community activist, group that needs healing, entrepreneur, scientist, or if you want to help your team write better, check out all the classes we offer on our website, writingclassradio.com. Join our community. We come together for instruction, an excuse to write, and the support from other writers. To learn more, go to our website or patreon.com/writingclassradio. A new episode will drop every other Wednesday.
There's no better way to understand ourselves and each other than by writing and sharing our stories. Everyone has a story. What's yours?
Produced and distributed by the Sound Off Media Company.